Good afternoon and welcome into another episode of the Buccaneers Coaches Show. I'm your host, Brandon Genson. It's been a busy week around Park Gilbert Athletics, so let's get right to it. Friday night marked 367 days since Park Gilbert softball last took the field, but you wouldn't know based on the way they took 3 out of 4 from Benedictine Mesa. The Bucs were shut out in Game 1 despite 4 scoreless innings from relief pitcher Jessica Mendoza. The Bats picked up a bit in Game 2, but they found themselves down 6-4 in the final inning. It was Peyton Kushner's double that gave the Bucs the lead and sealed the victory. They carried that momentum into Day 2 of the series, where they won by scores of 12-4 and 6-0. Destiny Alvarez went 5 for 5 in Game 1, while Michelle DeNicola hit solo homers in both games. In Game 2, Gabby Valley rebounded from her Friday performance by throwing a complete Game 2-hitter. Unfortunately, Park Gilbert softball isn't scheduled to play again until April 16th against St. Catharines. Men's and women's soccer were also both back in action this weekend with a doubleheader against Benedictine Mesa. For the men's team, a Nicholas Sullivan goal just before halftime was all they needed for the 1-0 win. The win marks their second in a row. I had a chance to talk with head coach Jonas Tanzer about the weekend. So Coach, you have won 2 of your first 3 games now, 2 in a row. How was your team's confidence? Just, I know a lot of them were on this team last year when they didn't win anything. So where are they at just at a confidence level and a skill level and going into more conference play here?
Well, we obviously feel pretty good about the situation. However, we stay humble. We do understand that you're only as good as your last game, your last training sessions. We trust the process that we're on. We did enjoy our last win on Saturday, on Sunday, but then Monday rolls around and it was back to normal. It was back to work again.
Yeah, and big picture, I think, this team just looks so different from last year and, it happened so quick. So, what's just working for you guys? What's gone into that?
Well, a lot of credit has to go to the players. They have stayed coachable. They have stayed true to the principles that we set out in the beginning of the year. We do have a clear picture how we want to look when we defend, how we want to look when we attack, how we want to look in the transition phase, both defensive and offensive, and a lot of credit to the players. They have taken those points on board and they stay disciplined and true to those principles.
Yeah, and you talked in the attacking game, Nicholas Sullivan, he just keeps finding the back of the net, but he's not the only one. So what's Nick doing, and then what are you guys doing just to give him those opportunities and everyone else who's been able to score this season?
Well, I think first, Nick has some very good individual qualities, but usually for me as a coach, I'm really interested in what happens 2-3 plays before those moments comes into play. And if you're looking at some of the other guys on the team, it's those principles that we have agreed upon that sets up those opportunities. And everybody's on board, everybody sticks to those principles. We have a clear idea of what spaces we want to attack, how we want to attack those spaces. And once everybody's on board, the game plan becomes pretty clear. And that is really what's been working out. And all that credit is to the players for taking all that information on board and actually carrying it out on the field.
Yeah, and defensively is kind of the same thing because you guys have allowed 2 or fewer goals in every game this season. That was a feat they only reached once last year.
Yeah, we have some internal goals as far as key numbers for soccer that we strive to achieve. If we achieve those over the course of a season, and especially bringing that momentum into hopefully a full fall season, we will be hard to play against. But again, those numbers, they go back to the principle. Soccer is a low-scoring game. There's plenty of stats to back up how we do things and why we do it in a certain way. It is more of a question of how you can be clear on those principles. And that goes back to the players. They have been really coachable. They have taken all that information on board. And I think so far, I know we only played 3 games, but we're hard to play against. And that's credit to every single one on the team.
On the women's side, impressive defensive performances kept them in the match all day, but they weren't able to find the back of the net in overtime against Benedictine Mesa, and the game ended in a 0-0 draw. Interim head coach Joe Paulson said, "Our team came out today and played extremely well. We created some chances, but were unlucky. Our defending gave us a platform to compete from start to finish. The trust this team has in each other made us very competitive today." Men's and women's volleyball traveled to California this weekend for 3 games each with UC Merced. The women's volleyball team pulled off their second sweep in a row over the Bobcats to go to 6-1 on the season. In match 1, it was Kayla Weiserman who led the way with 15 kills and a .538 kill percentage. In match 2, it was freshman Amanda Jonovich and the Bucks leader Miranda Bacon who had 14 kills each. On the men's side, they lost 3 straight to 16th ranked Merced and fell to 0-5 on the season. They fell behind again 0-2 in match 3 but came back and forced 5 sets. They led as late as the 9-8 mark but couldn't quite pull off the upset against the Bobcats. In that third match, James Contreras had 31 kills to shatter the old Buccaneers record of 19. Addison Henkel also tied a record with 7 blocks. Beach volleyball also got their season underway last Tuesday in a matchup with NCAA Division II's Wayne State College. The Bucks lost 4-1 to the Wildcats, with the lone win coming from the pair of Elizabeth Clement and Autumn Wood. Despite the loss, head coach Justin Marshall was happy with their performance against an NCAA opponent.
I'm proud of the kids for making changes and dealing with a little adversity with the weather today. But I see the growth, and we're going to continue to get better, moving into April.
In golf news, the Buccaneers had the second best Day 3 performance of any team at the Embry-Riddle Invitational to finish 4th in the tournament. Individually, Jacob Weeks finished 10th, marking the first top 10 finish in Bucks history. Victor Larson also jumped 4 spots on Day 3 to finish tied for 13th. On the women's side, Brianna Laura shot a final round of 91 to finish 19th, her second consecutive top 20 finish. 11 games this week translated to 12 winners of the Sidewinder Subs Player of the Game Award. Congratulations to all 12 of those athletes. That's it for this edition of the Buccaneers Coaches Show. Make sure to follow us on social media at Park Buccaneers, and until then, go Bucks!